So this is a formal hello, assalamu alaikum from my side to all of you, and I welcome once again to all of you people to my introductory biology class, in which we will going to study about another human system. Last time we have studied about the respiratory system, and we try to understand that how we inhale gases, how we exhale gases, what are the function of different components of our respiratory system, what is the function of diaphragm and the lungs and all these things and the associated organs. And today we will be studying about another organ system, the name of which is urinary system. Sometimes it is also called as the excretory system. I will be sharing my screen, okay? It is also called as excretory system. So first, like other human systems, we need to understand about certain things. As I told you in my earlier classes, once again I am repeating that as an introductory biology student, you need to know certain things about any human system in order to get good score and grades in your assessments. The first, you should know that what are the different organs present in a certain urinary system. How many organs are out there? Like respiratory system, you should remember nose. You might remember the pharynx, and then the larynx, windpipe, trachea, if you can remember these words, and then the lungs and the diaphragm. So all these things are components of that system. So in excretory system or in urinary system, the first thing you need to know that how many different organs are out there. The next thing you should know is that how these different organs are connected with each other to execute the function of excretion. And the last but not the least, you should know about certain diseases which are associated with that, with the malfunction of urinary system. So let me start with our lecture with our formal understanding about the urinary system. First thing first, what is excretion? And from where we came to know, we develop a need to release or to remove the waste products from our bodies. As we talked earlier, that the life at a molecular level is a chemical reactions, and those chemical reactions are called as metabolism. There are two types of metabolism going on in our bodies. Very important. Number one, some metabolisms are those which create the things in our bodies. They are called as anabolism. The other type of metabolisms are those which break down the things into simpler ones. Those are called as catabolism. And together, the anabolism and catabolism together, they called as metabolism. अल्लाह करे अली को जगह मिल जाए बैठने की आराम से, तो अब पढ़ना शुरू करें. ओके, अली को जगह मिल गई है. अली तुझे यहाँ से कोई नहीं उठाएगा, उम्मीद है. ओके, so different chemical reactions are going on within our bodies, which are called as metabolism. When a certain chemical reaction occurs, with the basic chemistry, you know, there are reactants which react with each other and they produce products. A very typical example of a metabolic reaction is respiration. During the respiration, a food is oxidized, means a food is burned down with the help of oxygen, and it produces energy and carbon dioxide gas and water. So food and oxygen, they are reactants which are reacting with each other. They are producing carbon dioxide gas and water and energy. What we need? We need energy, we need water, but we don't need carbon dioxide gas in our bodies. So what that means? we need to design a mechanism to expel that carbon dioxide gas outside from our bodies. We need to develop that mechanism. There is a need to expel the carbon dioxide gas outside from our bodies. Similarly, when other metabolic chemical reactions proceed in our bodies, they also produce a lot of things which are not required to be there within our bodies. They are called, you can call them as a waste products, or you can call them as byproducts. For example, when proteins are metabolized, you know what proteins are? Molecules of life में हमने पढ़ा amino acids से मिलके बनते हैं. They are made of when proteins are metabolized for different reasons, they produce their products as well as some unwanted materials. So that unwanted material should be expelled out from the bodies, should be released from the body. So you need a system which can excrete or remove the unwanted waste material from your bodies. And that system is called as excretory system, or in simple words, urinary system. So without that system, we will never be able to live in a normal life. We will never be able to live longer. For example, let me tell you the example of the people who unfortunately develop kidney failure. Since the kidneys are the main organ involved in the urinary system, and let's suppose, Allah na kare, if somebody's kidney got failed due to X, Y, Z reasons, the person will not be able to excrete the waste product outside from their bodies. And that person needs dialysis. It requires a support from the system, from the machines, to expel the waste product outside from their bodies. And if they do not go for dialysis for a longer period of time, they will die because of that thing. So the waste products which are produced as a result of metabolism within the cells, those waste products will stay within the body, within the cells, and then it passes into the blood. So you need a system which can extract all of those waste products from the blood and then throw that thing outside the body. And that system is excretory system or urinary system. Now, our body releases all those waste products in terms of urine. So urine contains the unwanted materials, the waste product of metabolism which is produced inside our body, and we need to remove that stuff outside the body. Okay? So excretory system result in the creation of urine, and urine takes out all the unwanted material from our bodies and throw outside the bodies. A urinary system is made up of certain organs. Number one, the most famous, it is made up of kidney. There are two kidneys out there. The other, you can see the ducts, the two ducts coming out of the kidneys and going into, these ducts are called as ureter. These two ducts ended up into a bladder called urinary bladder. Remember that bladder is present in your belly. That bladder is present in your bellies. ये हमारी belly में होता है bladder. And it is used to store urine for a certain period of time. So we can find a better place, we can find a place to get rid of that unwanted waste material or urine. And then there is another duct out there which is called urethra. Urethra is a small duct which came out of the urinary bladder, and it serves as a purpose, as a pipeline to release the urine from outside the body. This little system is, like I told you earlier, that having complex and advanced system in our bodies makes us unique, special, and complicated. But at the same time, the higher interdependency will put us in a very vulnerable situation, that in the absence of the function of any one organ, the human will not be able to survive in a normal way. So without kidney, you can't imagine a life. Without bladder, you can't imagine a life. So all these things are important. Let's see the functions one by one and to see how these things work together to execute the system which we call as excretory system or urinary system. We have two kidneys. They are famously called as organs of the filtration. Now you can guess, they are filtrate organ, and their purpose is filtration, because they are extracting the bad things out of the blood and putting it outside the body, making urine. So their job is to filter the blood. Typically, they filter about 2,000 liters of blood each day. It's a hell of the volume of the blood, 2,000 liters of blood. Every day, the kidneys are trying to filter that much blood every day. They contains very small tubes which are called as nephrons. You should study, or we should study, but at our 100 level course, we are not supposed to go that much detail, but I will try to explain about these nephrons, what these nephrons are. So each kidney is made up of large number of nephrons. So studying about the kidney, studying about the structure of kidney, studying about the function of kidney means studying about the excretory system. So if you know and understand the structure and the function of the kidney, then the job is done. Okay, so let me introduce you the important components in the kidney. As I told you, that kidney is serving a job. It is filtering out the bad materials from the blood and making urine. So it requires a supply of blood. It requires an artery. You know who brings the blood? The way the channels, the vessels which takes the blood away from heart. Remember, the channels which takes the blood away from heart, they are called as arteries. The arteries divide and then divide and then divide, producing a very small vessels which are called as capillaries or blood capillary, very small. After that, the blood capillaries, they rejoin together, then rejoin again and again and again, and eventually making the veins. And then those veins will take the blood back to the heart. So you need to know that a kidney requires a supply of blood. It requires an artery which should bring the blood. So the kidney can filter that blood. And then another vessel should take that blood outside the kidney back to the heart once again. The artery which brings the blood, a very big one, is called as renal artery. Renal is a medical term, belongs to the kidney. So that means renal artery. Sometimes people use the word term renal failure. That means ke kidney kaam nahi kar rahi hai. So renal artery is easier. The red ones, it is renal artery. It brings the blood. After that, it goes and divide and produce small blood capillaries. Those blood capillaries then collect and then rejoins to make bigger and bigger vessels, the blue ones. It is called renal vein. The renal vein take out the filtered blood from the kidney and go back to the heart. Now you can guess, blood is coming from the renal artery into the kidney and then going back from the renal vein. The blood which is entering into the kidney, it contains waste product. It contains nitrogenous waste. Mainly, The main nitrogenous waste out there is urea. The main nitrogenous waste which produced as a result of protein metabolism is urea. There are a lot of other waste products as well, and kidney needs to regulate many chemicals as well, but the main thing is the urea which is present within that blood. It is required to be extracted and expelled outside the body. So unfiltered blood with the waste enters, and when it leaves, it is filtered without urea, and most of the things were extracted and poured into this channel, which is called urethra, which is called ureter. This is called ureter, and ureter takes the urine from the kidney into the bladder. So that is how the pathway works. Other thing you should know is about that the kidney is made up of two portions. If you can see, this middle one is the lighter one, and that part is quite hollow as well. The outer one is comparatively darker. They have two names. I'm not mentioning those names if it is not there. That kidney is made up of tiny little tubes, tube-like structures. Those tiny little tubes are called as nephron. If you're able to see that thing, I wish you able to see that thing. Can you see this yellow stuff? Yellow tube. Can you see the tube here? This one, this yellow tube. This is called the nephron. Each kidney is made up of millions of nephrons. And I can tell you, even 1/3 of the one kidney is good enough for our survival. And imagine how bad we are as human, that we put our kidney in so much trouble that some of the people, some among us, manage to get their kidney filled over the period of their lifetime. Even the 1/3 of one kidney is good enough to serve the purpose. So all that kidney is made up of these tiny little beautiful tubes. If you're able to see closely, I wish you should be able to see like me. My eyesight is very good. Here is a cup-like structure. Is a cup-like structure over there. Let me try to draw a cup-like structure like this. A cup-like structure exists here. A yellow cup-like structure. This is called the Bowman's capsule. Actually, it is discovered by that scientist named Bowman. So, ye uske naam pe Bowman's capsule. You don't need to remember the name, okay? That's fine, but it's good to know a lot of things. So, the tube has a cup-like end, and then there is like, you can see a channel like this one, and then it is like this one, and then this, something like that. If I able to draw the things perfectly. So it is like this one, okay? Ye wali line extra, okay? You don't need to worry about this one. This is strong. Okay, so this cup-like structure is a place where renal artery divides and produce a collection of blood capillaries within that Bowman capsule. So the blood capillaries make a mass of blood capillaries right within that Bowman capsule. This collection of blood capillaries, ये एक गुच्छे की तरह बना लेते हैं blood capillaries, is called as glomerulus. So when the blood present in the glomerulus, that blood managed to see the things present in that blood, crosses that space and entered into the Bowman capsule or entered into the nephrons. So the waste products present in the blood from here passes into the Bowman capsule. And you know what are those waste products will be? They are urea and other toxic chemicals which we want to be expelled from our bodies. It enters into that, nephrons. After that, it passed through these channel, and let me name some important part of that channel. There is a convoluted part here, turns here, and then there is a long U-shaped tube here. You can see the same thing here as well. If you can see my cursor moving here, the U-shaped structure is here as well. This is called loop of Henle. Now it's an online class, so you don't need to remember or memorize that thing. You understand that now? All you need to know is the order and their job and their functions. You should have a clear concept about their job, okay? And then there is a U-shaped structure. विशाल आपका माइक ऑन है बेटा, अगर आप कोई क्वेश्चन करेंगे तो आप माइक्रोफोन ऑन कर लीजिएगा, अदरवाइज आप इसको ऑफ रखिए. So then there is a U-shaped structure called loop of Henle. I'm just naming these things since it's a recorded lecture, so you can go back and listen the word once again. And then there is another convoluted part out there, and then it expels the things like with the help of this channel. So whatever it is collecting, it is expelled from that portion. And you can see that portion here. Can you see? Bowman capsule, then convoluted part, then the long tube, and then another convoluted part, then everything is expelled in that channel, and then it eventually drops into that open chamber. So whatever that nephron has collected is expelled in that chamber here. And you know what that thing is? That thing is urine. Millions of millions of nephrons, not neurons, millions of nephrons doing the same things and putting drop by drop urine in that open channel. From this open channel, the urine is pushed into that ureter bit by bit, and it is collected into a chamber called the bladder. I told you it is present in the belly. ये पेट में होता है, bladder. The bladder contains muscles. We can control those muscles which are present around the bladder. The kids can't control that muscles, so it's like reflexive in their case. But for adults, they can control that muscle. And when these muscles contract, when the bladder is filled, we start feeling that we need to go for the loo. When these muscles contract, it expels the urine from the urethra outside the body. So that is how kidney works. Some little more concept you should know before I conclude that session, very important, that when things crossed that boundary from the blood, think here is everything is in the blood. Now everything is in the nephron. Lot of important things also entered into the nephron, because like it's a filtration system. So along with the bad things, many good things enters into the nephron. And I can tell you what are the good things. The good things are glucose. The good things are water. The good things are salts. All these things enter into the nephron. And if these things enter into the open chamber called pelvis from here to the ureter and from into the bladder and outside the body, we will waste all these expensive material from our blood. So nature has created a way that it created a system of blood vessels. So there exists a system of blood vessels which covers the system of blood vessels, which covers each of the nephrons. And the job of that system is to absorb, actually reabsorb, is to reabsorb all the good material, all the required material, all the wanted material back into the blood. What are the things we need to reabsorb? Number one, glucose. Glucose should be reabsorbed because it is required to produce energy. What if We have lots of glucose in our blood. The nephrons will be tired. थक जाएंगे वो reabsorb कर करके because we have a lot of glucose in our body because of some disease. What will happen? Some glucose will pass on into the urine, and that is an indication of a disease called diabetes. इससे होती है diabetes. यूरिन में ग्लूकोज देके डॉक्टर कहता है डायबिटीज होगी क्योंकि ग्लूकोज लेवल इज वेरी हाई. But another important thing out there, water. Do we need to reabsorb water or not? It depends on the amount of water present in our bodies. If we are having a lot of water in our bodies, the kidneys will calculate and will let the water go. लेकिन अगर आपने रोजा रखा हुआ है, if you're not having enough water in your body, you're not drinking enough water, the kidney is calculating there is not enough body, so it is reabsorbing the water a lot and will create a urine with a very small amount of water. So it is also controlling the level of water in our body. It's also controlling the level of salts in our bodies, and of course other important ingredients. But once this is done, it creates the urine. So whatever the kidneys are doing, they are filtering the blood, producing urine. It is collected into the bladder. Bladders do carry the muscles. When these muscles contract, we can control it with the help of our brains. Once we can feel the bladder is full and we need to go for the loo, and then when you contract, it releases the urine outside the body. It is so important that if a kidney is not doing its job, you can guess what will happen. Your body is overrun by the presence of unwanted chemicals, and people will not be able to live for few days in that state. So it is that much sensitive and important. The people who have failed kidneys, they need to remove and get their blood filtered manually with the help of a machine which is called dialysis machine. So what dialysis machine is doing? Exactly what kidneys used to do. The dialysis machine is like, there's a big machine out there, dialysis machine like this. We are sending person's blood to that machine. It gets filtered, and then the filtered blood came out of the machine and we send that blood back to the person's body. So all the blood from the person's body entered into the machine and then back to the person once again. It filtered everything. That's the job of the dialysis. So it controls the movement of water. It maintains based on the thirst and nature. The amount of urine we produce depends on the availability of water we are having. And then there exist certain hormones which regulate the function of the kidneys. They define whether we need to store water or we don't need to store water, whether the water is available or not available. It allows the absorption and reabsorption of water across the nephrons. Okay, and one of the hormone is diuretic hormone. Several disorders are associated with the dysfunction of different organs present in the excretory system. If there is an infection of certain pathogens like bacteria and virus, they can haunt the function of kidneys and associated organs. Kidney stones are very famous. You can guess what kidney stones are doing now. They are blocking the urine. If the stone is present in the kidney, it is more difficult to be released from there. If it is present in the ureter, it might be broken down and it can go out with the urine. And what we are doing, we are using, for example, if there is a stone out there. So if there is a stone out there, let's suppose we are using lithotropsy. In lithotropsy, we are sending radiation, and that radiation destroys that stone into simpler components, simpler pieces, and then it can be expelled with the help of urine as well. Sometimes a surgery is required if the stone is a little bit bigger. There are other kidney diseases also associated with the trouble, and this is an example of the stone you can see here. Okay, so that's it for the lecture and for this session. I'm sure that you people might be able to get an idea about the excretory system. If yes, then I will be happy. If no, then I will try more in the second session with your question and answers, mention all these things. Okay, so let me see first the people who want to ask questions about the excretory system. Okay, Fazila, your microphone is turned on, so you can proceed with your question.
So why urea is not useful for our body and it has to be excreted? For example, like the other day I was reading somewhere that it is used for the treatment of dry and rough skin. So why isn't it before time preserved in our body and there's no need to excrete it?
Yeah. I mean, at this point of evolution, I mean, today, at that time, we don't need urea for any metabolic purpose in our bodies. It depends on the life form, which life form you are talking about. We are releasing carbon dioxide gas, you know, after respiration. We have no use of carbon dioxide gas in our bodies. But that does not mean nobody else has any use of carbon dioxide gas. The plants use carbon dioxide gas to produce glucose. So something is not required in our body based on the metabolism we are having. In our metabolism, there is no place for that. That molecule is called as the waste. But जैसे लामा इकबाल साहब ने कहा था, कोई चीज निकम्मी नहीं जमाने में, कोई बुरा नहीं कुदरत के कारखाने में. So nothing is actually you can refer as the waste. But in the context of human body, that is not required. But there are many properties of urea, and there are many organisms which can metabolize urea as well. They can use the urea as well. But we don't have that metabolism. So it's a waste for us. G. Next question हमसे पूछेंगे मरियम अति. मरियम, आपके पास माइक है इस वक्त, आप काइंडली अपना क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. जी, please proceed.
Sir, using radiation or laser, does that not like affect our body or organs in a negative way?
Yes, you are right. Using radiation or any other means to fix the disease, particularly the kidney stones. Kidney stones को remove करने के लिए lithotripsy करते हैं, radiations का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, lasers का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. Is that dangerous to the kidney? The answer is yes, it is. But that danger is far less as compared to the danger which that stone is creating. And also, we have developed advanced version of radiations and lasers nowadays. And you need to remember one thing, it's very important scientific concept, that the laser utilizes its frequency and wavelength to resonate with the atoms and molecules of the stone. What that means in easier terms, if you understand physics and resonance well, it will be easier in chemistry, but if not, then don't worry. Just think. Let me make an analogy to explain that phenomena easily. If you have a burger, which is very difficult nowadays to have, if you have a burger at your home, you place it on a plate and put it into the microwave. There's a certain type of plate out there, put it in the microwave. Or you can place that burger into a paper bag and then place it on that plate and put it into the microwave oven. After some time, the burger is quite hot, particularly from inside. It's very hot inside. But the surface of the paper is not that much hot, and the plate is not as hot at all. So we can think here what microwave is doing with that burger, how it is making that burger like so much hot. It is because the radiations, the microwave which we are using, the wavelength of those radiations resonate. I'm not using the word match. Match is fine, but the actual word I should use is resonate. Is resonate with the vibrations of water molecule. So when those microwaves passes through the food, its radiations matches with the vibrations of water molecules, so the water molecules start vibrating faster. So wherever the water molecule exists in the food, they start vibrating faster, and they increase their kinetic energy is increased, and that means their temperature got increased. So जहाँ जहाँ पे पानी होगा वहाँ पे heat पैदा होगी. That means it's present within the food. So the food got जो है receives the heat. So that is how the microwave able to selectively heat the food only. The same principle is applicable to those advanced lasers which are used in lithotripes. The lasers can resonate with the stones, and they calculate with using different means and machines that what is the exact amount of radiation they need to, fire onto that stone, so it can specifically destroy and cut the stone, not the rest of the cells. Okay, so it is worked out already. So it's a very less damage, but of course it is it's a damage. Of course it's not healthy. Okay, Shabash. Next. Who is the next? Musa. Welcome, Musa, to your class.
Thank you, sir.
And you can ask your question.
I wanted to ask.
आपकी आवाज कम है मूसा, आप थोड़ा सा जोर से बोलेंगे या माइक के पास बोलेंगे? ओके मूसा, मुझे आपकी आवाज अच्छे से नहीं आ रही है. अगर मेरे पास एक सोल्यूशन है आपके लिए मूसा, अगर आपका माइक्रोफोन या आपसे आवाज अच्छे से नहीं, आप उसको टाइप करके चैट में सेंड कीजिए, मैं उसको रीड करके उसको आंसर कर दूंगा. ठीक है? Okay, and in the meanwhile, if anybody else have a question, so I think I'm having some connection. Oh, Musa, don't worry, you can have a connection issue, that's fine, but you can leave your message in the text and I will answer it. Okay, don't worry, it will be recorded automatically and you can download later on whenever you want to. So at least you will get the answer of your question from my side. Okay,
sir.
Next is Mir. Mir ji, आप अपना सवाल कर सकते हैं.
जी, sir, it is observed that some people urinate considerably more than other, while other urinate considerably less. What does that happen?
Okay, the first thing I have explained during the lecture is the amount of urine produced in the person's body. That depends on the availability of water that person is having. Okay, first thing first, the availability of water. So if you have more water, your kidney and the hormones plan, okay, a lot of water present in the body, we don't need to preserve it, let it go. If you're not having enough water, your hormones will sense it and let your kidney and instruct your kidney to preserve, to reabsorb as much water as possible, and then we will have a less volume of urine. This is like a one normal situation. What you are referring to might be, what if I understand correctly, that there are people who have like a different level of the different level of function in their kidney with the other people. Like it's a kind of disease. It's a kind of I must say different level of efficiency of the kidneys. Whatever I told you in the lecture is like something which is general, applicable to everybody. But after that, we are different people, we are different persons. We spend our life differently. We utilize our kidneys differently. I don't know, you are using your kidney better than me, or I'm using the kidney better than you. You might remember my lunch box. I believe I'm using my kidney much better than you people. I'm still having like lime water or secunjabine free. Secunjabine कहते हैं. I don't care. It's much better than the other type of things to compensate the water and salt level. So we, as a different person, we consumed we utilized our kidneys in a different way. That changes the efficiency of the kidneys. That changes the ability of the kidneys to react in a different way. So two people living in one home under same conditions but using their kidneys in a different way. One of them is like having on a good diet, like healthy diet, not eating junk, not having a lot of toxins. Remember, when you have bad things in your blood, your kidney needs to work very hard. And for all the boys out there, unfortunately, the boys are not much in number, I believe. For all the boys out there, they can understand this thing much better. But that does not mean the ladies should not know that phenomena. When they become like adult, starting like that during their teenagers and later on, they wanted to to develop masculine features in their body. And one of the most easiest way to develop that masculine feature is to go to the gym. So such a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful thing. A man, a teenage boy is going to the gym for the exercise. Amazing. I mean, इससे अच्छा कोई health, कोई sports नहीं हो सकता है. Recommended for everybody. But you know what they will find over there? People with the mashware that there is a medicine out there, there is injections out there, steroids. ये सारे boys को बताइए, हंसेंगे सुन के. ये वाला steroid है, injection लगाओ, बड़ी भूख लगेगी, muscles बनेंगे, and within 2 or 3 weeks, with the help of those steroids, they started developing their muscles that look like very macho. You can see they started making suddenly short sleeves t-shirts पहनना शुरू कर देंगे. Started moving like this, that like they have a very macho character. Eventually they will be. What that person is doing with his kidney at that time, that is very important to understand. Steroids are very, very expensive molecules created naturally by our bodies. And our kidneys are seriously instructed, not to lose any steroid molecule from the body. It's so much expensive molecule which we create because it is required for some very vital functions for our bodies. But what we are doing, the boys and the men, they are injecting lots of steroids into their blood system. Now who is in trouble after that? Kidney. The kidneys are instructed not to let any single molecule of steroid outside the body. The kidney will be working very hard, going back, reabsorbing, keeping the steroid outside the urine. The kidneys are overworking for those molecules. If they keep overworking for a longer period of time, you can guess the efficiency of that filtration system will be decreased. And that will change the normal function. This is just an extra example, but to answer the Me's question, the best answer is that we are using our kidneys differently. So that is why it's like an organ given to you by nature. I told you 1/3 of the kidney is good enough for our survival. If we lost one kidney in our lifetime, that means we have misbehaved with our kidneys. We have misused our kidneys. We are giving them toxin. We are eating like toxic water. We are impure water. We are not taking care of the liquids we are taking. We are not taking care of the food, whether it is healthy or not. So we are putting our kidneys like in a lot of trouble. So that's why if you use it well, eventually you can take that organ for a longer period of time. That is why our average life is 60, 65, 70, less than 60 to 65. And the average life of South Korean and Japanese are nearly 100 years. Because they can take their organs for 100 years. और हमारे यहाँ 60 पे आपको पता ही है वो बाबा जी कहते हैं बोनस है अब जो भी इसके बाद जिंदगी आ गई वो बोनस है. We had started thinking about after 60 years. That would be asked. जी शाबाश. और CP मैं अब एब्रीविएशन से गैस करूँ. जी.
Sir, it's Misha Mbarak. CP
जी मिशा.
Sir, you just said that during dialysis, सारे completely blood जो है वो एक टाइम पे बॉडी में नहीं होता, तो वो कितनी देर का टाइम पीरियड होता है और जितनी देर में वो वापस आता है. मीनवाइल फिर
जी okay. I got the question of Misha. Interrupt हो गया था बीच में, लेकिन मेरा ख्याल I got your question. मैं इसको repeat करता हूँ. You can nod your head to let me know that the question is right. कि dialysis के दौरान, during the dialysis, a person's blood is supposed to go outside the body and then came back from the machine. So how long it will stay outside the body? So the amount of blood which stays outside the body is not enough. It's very small, like just less than a bottle also. So our machine is taking the blood at the same time and passing that blood into the filtration system, extracting the bad things out of the blood, and then from the other side it is entering back into the person's body at the same time. So it is not like taking the blood out, processing, and then putting the blood back. No, it is not like that. Okay, so it will be like a real time thing. Okay, J. Who's next? I can see Fazila. Let Wajid ask the question. जी वाजिद आप पूछें.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो बंदे का किडनी फेलियर होता है वन किडनी, तो उसकी जो किडनी रिप्लेस हो जाती है, कोई और किडनी लगाते हैं, तो वो उसी तरह ही फंक्शन करती है जो पहले उसकी अपनी किडनी थी.
जी जी.
उसके कोई ड्रॉबैक्स भी होते हैं सर?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. जो किडनी फेलियर के बाद किडनी ट्रांसप्लांटेशन करते हैं, ऑफ कोर्स ये नेचुरल नहीं है. आप गैस कर सकते हैं ना, नेचुरल नहीं है, ये लगाया बाहर से, ये उस इंसान की भी नहीं है. इट इज मेड अप ऑफ somebody else cell, किसी और के सेल से मिलके बनी हुई है. So it's different. The drawbacks are that, number one, when you install somebody else's kidney into your body, into the patient's body, so the recipient's body started feeling that thing as an outsider. वो उसको outsider समझती है. इसलिए the kidney should have a very close match with all the things, not only in the blood groups, but into the for other reasons as well, number one. And also, the person's body try to kill the kidney. The person's immune system feels it does not belongs to me. It try to kill that kidney. So the doctors, during and after that surgery, they give the persons such drugs which compromise the immune system, which compromise the person's natural immune system. So naturally the person is not able, the immune system is not able to sense what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so that is why at that time the person can got sick very easily for all other diseases, and it can create complications after the transplant. It is like if a country having an army which can start killing the country's important organization. So the solution is that the army should be abandoned. Please do not use that statement separately. I have given example any country. I have given an example any country, and I am just giving an analogy. Okay, it's very difficult to speak like this. So the most easiest thing, abandoning that army, but abandoning that army will make that country more vulnerable for other threats as well. So it's a risk which doctors took at that time after the transplantation, and a lot of other complications are there. It will never work in a natural way. I can tell you, it will never work. ये हो सकता है, kidney failure will take that person to the death like in few months, but that kidney would help that person to live like for many years. It can give life, extra years to that person. But nowadays, it's not legal to get kidney from anybody else outside your own blood relation, not even for donations. लेकिन हमारे मुल्क में ये काला धंधा बड़ा मशहूर है. हमारे मुल्क में अरबी आते हैं इलाज कराने के लिए, कुवैत से, सऊदी अरेबिया से, यूएई से, कतर से. वो जो अरबी शेख नहीं होते जो काबू और बाजों वाले, वो आते हैं हमारे मुल्क में इलाज कराने. बंदा पूछते हैं उनको हमारे मुल्क से इलाज, हमारे मुल्क में किडनी मिल जाते हैं. वो कहते हैं 1 लाख रुपए लूंगा ना. एक गरीब आदमी एक झुग्गी में से कहता है मेरा सारा साल गुजर जाएगा उससे, तो वो अरबी शेख उसको कहेगा मैं तुम्हें 1 लाख रियाल दे दूंगा तुझे का मसला. बच्चों के लिए बच्चे. तो हम लोग ये हम बहुत बुरे हैं इस मामले में. हमारे मुल्क में इसका ब्लैक बिजनेस होता है. और आपने बहुत सारी एग्जांपल सुनी होगी. मोस्ट रीसेंट एग्जांपल आपने सुनी होगी उमर शरीफ की बेटी. आई डोंट नो, यूट्यूब पे बोल रहा हूँ मैं. उमर शरीफ की बेटी आपने सुना होगा, उसकी एक बेटी की डेथ होगी क्योंकि आजाद कश्मीर के एक हॉस्पिटल में उसकी सर्जरी हुई थी, और वो सर्जरी किडनी ट्रांसप्लांट की थी. लेकिन चूंकि इलीगल हुई थी, छुप के हो रही थी, यानी कि इट वाज लाइक कि किसी डॉक्टर को, यानी कि वो डॉक्टर भी ट्रेंड नहीं था, पैसे बहुत सारे इन्वॉल्व थे, जो ट्रेंड होगा वो मान नहीं रहा होगा कि मेरा पूरा करियर खत्म हो जाएगा अगर पकड़ा गया। नाउ द लेडी गॉट इन्फेक्शन एंड शी वाज डेड। कोई केस, कोई खप, कोई शोर शराबा नहीं, क्योंकि वो इलीगल है। So that's something which we need. हमारे यहाँ बड़े बड़े लोगों ने इस पे बड़े, यानी कि हमारे लाहौर शहर में, मैं इलाके का नाम नहीं लेता, इलाकों के अंदर, घरों के अंदर ऑपरेशन थिएटर्स बनाकर ब्लैक में मार्केट के, ब्लैक मार्केट से यानी कि लोगों को, गरीब लोगों को पैसे देके उनकी मजबूरियों का फायदा उठा के, कोई उनके पास बैठा हुआ, तुम क्यों उदास हो, परेशान हो, तुम्हारे पास पैसे नहीं है, ओके मैं तुम्हारे लिए बंदोबस्त कर दूंगा, और उसको कन्विंस करना, काउंसलिंग करना कि एक किडनी काफी है, नो प्रॉब्लम, यू विल गेट 400,000 500,000 रुपीज। घरों के अंदर थिएटर बना के, इट्स नॉट अ वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड ऑपरेशन, सर्जरी, लोगों ने पैसे कमाए हैं इससे, और वो सर्जरीज करवा कौन रहा है, बड़ी बड़ी क्लास, रिच पीपल, और आउटसाइड कंट्रीज, बाहर से लोग आ रहे हैं। अल्लाह ताला हमें हिदायत दे इसके ऊपर। जी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, इससे पहले कि हमारा सेशन खत्म हो जाए। जी फाजिला, मीर भी आ गया। मीर जी आप पूछें।
सर मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जो किडनी स्टोन्स होते हैं वो कैसे फॉर्म होते हैं? हम ये देखते हैं कि जो वेस्ट मटेरियल्स होते हैं वो तो मतलब किडनी जो है वो ऑब्जॉर्व कर लेती है और उसे फिर बाहर फेंकने की कोशिश करती है, लेकिन फिर ये जो स्टोन्स होते हैं ये किसी वेस्ट मटेरियल के बने होते हैं ना, तो ये आया किडनी में कोई प्रॉब्लम होने की वजह से बनते हैं या किडनी प्रॉपर्ली फंक्शन नहीं कर पाती जिसकी वजह से बन जाते हैं? इसकी क्या रीजन होता है
स्टोन्स बनने की? मुझे अच्छा सवाल है, शाबाश। इसकी कई वजूहात हैं, मैं मोटी मोटी वजह बता देता हूँ। स्टोन्स बनने की वजह ये होती है कि जब हमारी पानी में the filtered material which the kidney is trying to filter, it contains excessive amount of a certain salt. अगर इसमें कहीं पर excessive amount of a certain salt हो, tries to pass highly concentrated material, highly concentrated salts solution to a narrow channel, it get crystallized. ये chemistry की term है, it get crystallized, वो क्रिस्टल बना देता है। ये वो पहली जगह होती है, ये पहला वक्त होता है जब किडनी स्टोन के बनने का आगाज होता है। Once the crystal is created, and crystal is created as a result of so many reasons, I told you, higher concentration of a certain salt, तो स्टोन का मटेरियल साल्ट का होता है आमतौर। When it enters, got concentrated, entered into a small place, into the channel, it got crystallized. This is called seed crystal, and later on, when the solution pass over that place, it actually added more and more salt on that thing, and that eventually it becomes bigger and bigger. It becomes a big salt stone. This is the kidney stone. एक natural phenomena जो है वो उसकी वजह से होता है। अगर किडनी ब्लॉकेज हो, न्यूरॉन्स में ब्लॉकेज हो, this misuse, that can enhance the chance of crystallization. Means it can enhance the possibility of having the stone. पानी ज्यादा नहीं पिए आप, do not drink enough water, that will lead to a concentrated solution of urine, that can increase the chance of having a stones in the kidney. So there are a lot of things which are associated. जी फाजिला, आपने मुझसे सवाल पूछना है, आपने बड़ी देर से रोका हुआ है, जल्दी पूछे।
Yes, sir. How can the hormones calculate that how much amount of water is to be reabsorbed? Are there any neurons present that they send the signals to the brain?
शाबाश, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। कि कैसे हार्मोन्स कंट्रोल करते हैं, हार्मोन्स को कौन कंट्रोल करता है, दैट शुड बी द क्वेश्चन। ओके, हार्मोन्स डिफाइंस करते हैं, मोर वाटर शुड बी अब्सॉर्ब, लेस वाटर शुड बी अब्सॉर्ब, बट हु कंट्रोल्स द हार्मोन? द हार्मोन्स आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय द ब्रेन, and brain is calculating and analyzing all the levels, different indicators, using the different levels and indicators present in our body. How much water we are having, how much temperature is out there, how much salt is there, मैंने कितनी बार खाना खाया, कितनी बार नहीं खाया, how much food is there inside my belly, how many water I have drank, little. All this information is there in the brain, and brain trigger the hormones, and then hormones control the level of water in the kidneys. So is जो असल जो culprit है is the brain, not the hormones. जी, शाबाश. Who's next? we are trying to know everything about excretory system. ऐसी की तैसी कर देंगे हम इसकी. शाबाश फाजिला, और क्वेश्चन आपके पास?
यस
जी
सर.
शाबाश, बोले. अभी कोई और नहीं आया, अभी आप पूछ सकते हैं.
सर किडनी के साइज में डिफरेंस क्यों होता है? राइट किडनी थोड़ी बड़ी होती है लेफ्ट से.
There is, I don't know the answer of this question. There is no physiological reason for this thing. If there is, I don't know, but I have no answer. But this is like something I think as a result of evolution. Sometimes our right side of the face is different from the left side of the face, and things are there. But I don't know. There is no physiological reason associated with that. Ji.